Hey Motorheads, you remember this thing? The straight out of sci-fi three-wheeled mega efficient and partially solar powered hypermiler? So we've sort of already covered this thing a bit, but there's been some significant recent updates that I think are worth discussing. But if this third grader's drawing of a spaceship is new to you, well, we're gonna give you a little bit of a crash course. Okay, so this is the second coming of this company. You see, they originally started in 2006, and back then this thing wasn't an EV, but rather a mega hypermiler to the tune of 330 miles per gallon. That's pretty incredible. Alright, cool. So what happened? Well, the financial crisis amongst other things happened, and Aptera, like a lot of other companies, well, they just never really recovered, and they had to shut the doors back in 2011. Fast forward a bit, and in 2019, Aptera Motors was reformed under the leadership of the original founders, but this time, yeah, screw that internal combustion engines. These dudes are serving up some electron stew for the rebirth of their little sci-fi experiment. Okay, history lesson over. Let's talk about the new one. You know, the one you can buy, and clearly the absolute best version of this thing, period. And there's some updates, but before we get into those updates, let's take a look at some of the specifics. So, look, if you go to their website, if you pretend that you're gonna reserve yourself one, you'll be able to access their configurator. And if I remember, I'll drop a link in the description, but look, honestly, by the time this thing's done, I'm probably gonna forget. Anyway, so believe it or not, this thing actually starts at under 26 grand, which is incredible. Seriously. Now look, the price can creep up pretty quickly, but honestly, the version you get for 26 grand isn't bad. I mean, it's not bad at all. All right, moving on. First option is paint, and you can choose between silver, white, and black for no additional cost. But if you're looking for something a little bit more custom, Aptera's got you covered, but it's gonna cost you like 1,500 bucks to pick your own color, but that's cool. All right, next up, we got the big money option. And this is where things start to get a little crazy or exciting, or actually probably a little bit of both. I'm talking about the battery and specifically the range. Now you can stick with the entry-level battery and keep costs in check, and you still get a very solid 250 miles of range. All right, and things start to get a little crazy from here. For an extra 4 grand, that range pops up to 400 miles. And throw in another 5 grand, and now your range is 600 miles. And we're not done yet. To be the undisputed range king in the EV world, you're gonna have to fork out a bit more cash, but for under 45 grand, you'll get the big boy battery, and that range jumps all the way to 1,000 miles. You heard me right, 1,000 miles. That's just mega. Okay, the next option is gonna be all about how many solar panels you'd like. And this is actually really cool. If you go for the full solar panel option, and depending on where you live, you could get over 40 miles worth of juice every day from the sun alone. I mean, if your commute is reasonable and you live in sort of a sunny part of the world, you may never actually have to plug this thing in. And just think about that for a second. Anyway, the solar panel options are they're pretty cheap, as the full solar option is only 900 bucks. All right, look, quick point here, and something a subscriber had pointed out, if you do go for the full solar, you're gonna lose that rear window. So that's something to consider. Thanks Sal and Ann for that info, appreciate it. All right, so last option here, but this is by far the funnest option. Yep. You want that second motor? I think you do, and here's why. So even with the single motor option, this thing isn't exactly slow. I mean, 0 to 60 in 5.5 is plenty fast for most people most of the time. But for a super reasonable $2,500, you can opt for the second motor, all-wheel drive, and a stupid fast 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds. Yeah, I mean, that's fast. I mean, that's fast for just about anything that doesn't have like a ludicrous plaid thing happening, right? All right, so the last thing before we get into the updates, and that's the interior. You got 3 no-cost options, with my personal favorite being this Vita option with those orange accents. Yeah, I'm digging that. That's cool. Aptera will do a custom job for you for a cool 900 clams though. Okay, cool. So now that we're all on the same page, let's start talking about some of these recent improvements Aptera's made to an already pretty sweet, yet unusual EV. All right, first up, Aptera's made several improvements to their solar panels. First, they've sort of future-proofed these things, as now they're sort of designed to be switched out for new solar panels, assuming breakthroughs and improvements that are coming in the future. So that's pretty cool. That's not all though. They've also done plenty of hail testing, and durability is now just pretty sweet, I guess. All right, on to the next update. There's a new suspension that's been refined and integrated with 6 key structural parts that result in even better aerodynamics, which in turn results in better efficiency. Right on. We're not done though. The updated Aptera has improved structural stability that helps reduce shake. Love that. It's also a touch roomier on the inside as it increased the front row headroom and hip room. Also, turning radius, stability, and general maneuverability have also been improved. So that's all good. Alright, so what's the bottom line? Well, Aptera has gone and made their EV better, and that's cool. But these changes are relatively minor and probably won't change any minds. If you're into this thing, well, you're probably just more into it now. And if this thing's a little bit too much for you, then I can't imagine these updates will have changed your mind at all. I have to say though, I am pretty intrigued. Yeah, look, it's pretty crazy looking and I'm sure this won't be for everybody, but man, what you get for the price here is actually pretty stunning. I mean, spec'd up, you'll be able to hit 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds, you'll have a 1,000-mile range, and you'll be able to steal 40 miles of range from the sun every single day. Or, for like 25 grand, you get 250 miles of range. Oh, and keep in mind, these numbers are before Uncle Sam's potentially massive discounts, so if they can scale production and keep these prices sort of in check, I have no doubt they're gonna find as many customers as they want.